Good one. It's a real good one.
It was. It's better than I expected. Welcome back to another episode of the Lookout Podcast. I'm back up here at Sula Peak and joined by the Sula Peak Lookout Sam Vaughn.
Happy to be back.
Thanks for coming, dude. Or thanks for letting me come to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it every time. Love hanging out.
It's always a great time, and it's kind of a nice way to end the season. It seems like we always kind of do it towards the end. And, surprisingly, it's not that smoky for August.
Don't say it out loud.
I know, it's too early. August 21st is today. I'll be trying to get this podcast out like tomorrow or maybe this evening, depending on how much time I have. But there's some background for folks who didn't see the previous podcasts. And Sula Peak is in southwest Montana, north of Salmon, Idaho, actually, to kind of bring it in without sending a bunch of people your way.
They'll come anyways.
That's true.
Yellowstone is filmed like right outside my window. So.
It is. I don't blame them. It's so damn beautiful.
It is pretty. I do feel bad though. I get a lot of people showing up who, where's the train station? And I'm a jackass, so I'm like, there's not a train around here for miles.
Oh, I know. Because I think the train station's supposed to be like right down there.
I mean, it is apparently. I do know better now, and I'll try to point folks in the right direction. But I haven't seen the show, so
I haven't either.
I was completely ignorant for a little while. And it's right off the big pull-off, right at the bottom of the mountain road on the highway.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah, supposedly it's right there.
Yeah, because one time I came up here, I think it was the last time we did a podcast, and it was said, like, welcome to Wyoming sign, like, right before the turn, or right after, and I'm like,
yeah, excuse me?
I'm like, whoa, man, it was a long day at work, but I don't think I made it to Wyoming today.
This week's been a long month.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, man, I'm so confused. I got up here, I was like, check my watch. I think I even asked you. I'm like, where am I? I'm in Montana still, right?
Did I go too far?
Yeah, that was kind of a late night podcast, I think. It was dark when we started that one.
Yeah, I think, we've got kind of a split right now. So the two that we did, and including the one with Tyrell, sorry. All right, let me try that again. Two that we've done. One with just me, and one where Tyrell was here as well. That was late when you first got here. Sorry about the radio. That's going to be happening for the next 2 hours at least.
Yeah, I never know. So we did 3 total, right? Because there's James.
Yep.
You and James, you and Tyrell, and then you solo, right?
Mm-hmm. So 2 of those so far have been late. The one with Tyrell, I remember, was also a late one.
It was really late, yeah.
And then the one with James was kind of akin to today.
Yeah, I think it was real similar because I remember being a little like hot towards the beginning, and then having big brains on like you and Tyrell and James. I'm like, this one's I'm more relaxed for because I've known you now for like 3 years, right?
At least
2 years. 3 years. Yeah, as long as you've been up here, I think pretty much. And so I'm a little more relaxed, and we're buddies, and it makes it easier. But before, I felt like a responsibility to ask good questions because I had good brains on. So I was like, I need to make sure I'm not just asking like, you like outside? Me too. Like those
Big
kind of
dirt
questions.
Good.
Yeah.
Big dirt real good.
Big dirt. Yeah, exactly. Those kind of questions, man. Because it's I feel like it's how my brain works. Years of fire. So
yeah, and I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that though. There's absolutely a time and a place. Those two, if I had to pick 2 of my friends who you were going to ask questions like that of. Absolutely, those guys. Yeah. I love those guys. They're both very bright.
Yeah, they are, and so well spoken and real patient. And if I was kind of, I think they could kind of suss me out too to be like, oh, so I think you're trying to get at this. It's like, yep, that's exactly what it is. Trying to ask you because James is an archaeologist, and Tyrell is just a really smart human.
Yes.
Is he back in school?
So he is back in school. I think. Don't quote me on it, but I think he might be pursuing a chemistry degree now.
Oh, gotcha.
To be one of the things that's available and kind of akin to what he was going for. But since he's stuck in Billings, he's like, this is the best that I can do right now.
Yeah, so it's probably like the highest degree that you can get there. So he was going into like neuroscience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, the man is very smart, and he juggles his kind of side hustle is writing, and he's a very good writer, and he does that all the time.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that because that was going to be on our follow-up because I forgot to ask him about it in our first one. And then, because for folks who haven't listened to that podcast, Tyrell used to be TP Point Lookout for many years, and that is almost due east from where we're sitting here, heading, in the eastern Montana. But I mean, it's still on our forest, so not that far, but just in that, as a crow flies, I guess, is heading east.
Mm-hmm.
I made that way more complicated than it needed to be. But
It's east. It's behind you guys where you're watching right now.
that's kind of what I nailed it. Yeah, because I'm like,
Got you, buddy.
a lot of beauty back there. Is it the Pittlers are back there? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pindler Anaconda Wilderness.
Oh, it's a great spot.
That place where no one's going to fight fires.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. No one even really wants to there.
No.
Man, that one fire that was there. Oh, I think it was a year before I came. Before I worked in Sula. Were you here for that?
Yeah.
I think Manny was the IC, and like there was no access to that thing. It's just like
No.
there it is.
Yeah, and a lot of residents were pissed as, I mean, you get defensive of your home, absolutely. But it was to a point where you could kind of ask leading questions to some of the homeowners in the area where it's like, what are they going to do about that fire? And it's like, oh yeah, that fire. You've been up there? And they're like, yeah, it's pretty rough up there, huh? And they're like, yeah, it's terrible. There's, there's blowdown shit everywhere. It's really thick. It's really kind of scary to be up in there. I'm like, right. So they're like, probably don't want to go fight fire.
No, and that's like those leading questions are some of the best. As long as you're like condescending, like they're.
Yeah.
Because the public sometimes gets so worried they forget like we're humans too, and like especially in the roles that I was getting to before I left fire was like being in charge of other humans, and I'm not going to send humans to their death.
Oh, no. And I think you make a very good point, where it's like how to approach that in a like a diplomatic sense, right?
Yeah.
Where you want to talk these people down a little bit, but you also want to be like, hey, remember I'm a person and I don't want to go die in a fire.
Yeah.
That's still miles from your house, just, to put it in perspective.
Yeah, totally. A lot of, especially these local fire resources for folks listening who don't know, are a lot of times your local young kids, I call them. I mean, they're young adults, 18 and up, but like a lot of them are just trying to pay for school.
Oh, yeah.
So they're busting their hump all summer, and they'll gladly go and risk their lives to fight a fire. And then it's on leadership as myself to be like, no, it's not safe to go in there.
Right.
Like they're like for the excitement of the job, more money for fighting fire,
right.
And this is their hunting ground, a lot of it. So they're like,
yeah.
I want to save that too. So they're more than willing to go in there and risk it to put that fire out. So
you gotta be.
It's not a fear thing. It's just a safety issue.
I mean, rookies in pretty much any profession, they will do whatever you tell them to.
Yeah.
For the most part. So you cannot miss that where you don't see a dangerous scenario.
Yeah.
Fire. But I was so lucky. All of the leadership that I had when I was a rookie was very cognizant of like, that assignment is way too dangerous. We're rejecting that. It's like, and as a rookie, I mean, a gung-ho one too, who was fresh out of the military, I was like, why? Come on, we could do it.
Yeah.
And looking back, it's like, no, that wasn't safe or smart.
Same, yeah. Cause I was a college athlete, so I could I felt like I was like in great shape. I'm like, man, if something gets bad, I'll just run away. It's like
you don't understand.
Not even understanding the risk. Like the noise, the widowmakers, the standing dead, all these things that could come get you, and also just get surrounded by flames. If you had your head down, like I probably would have been, just digging away, trying to put the fire out by myself. And then also getting dehydrated and going TU.
Certainly. Yep. That's a lot of factors there that you don't think of when you're like, I can run fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in like shoes and shorts on a track.
Yeah, that too. Oh man, I should just have that conversation about man golfs because when I was talking to folks from Helena, I was telling them how I'd been there twice. Once as a kid with my family, like one of the first big family hikes I remember, and just like the first time in my life feeling like the heaviness and the gravity of an area, like whoa, this is a bad spot, and seeing all the grave markers and also like seeing the slope. I mean, like holy cow, what a horrible slope to be trying to outrun a fire on,
Right.
So then I go back, and when I'm in like really good shape, and after my rookie year in 2013, and me and my wife, at the time, his girlfriend, she was a college athlete too, played soccer and basketball. And so we're in running gear, like fresh off a nice breakfast in the morning, well hydrated, got good sleep, gonna go, like hike up Man Gulch and decided to time ourselves. And I think we would have made it. It'd been close, but I think we would have made it. But like you said, in running shorts, in running shoes.
Yeah.
Hadn't fought any fire that day, hadn't had the hot plane ride over, and parachute in the ground and like all of that, and carrying a ton of weight, so it was like, I don't know if I would have made it if it was for real, you know?
Right. And that's, I mean, we can test ourselves on these hills. I mean, Sula Peak is notorious for breaking off new and veteran firefighters. Like, this hill is a tough one.
Yeah, it's deceiving.
Certainly. So we can time ourselves all day and practice, which is good. But the reality is, if you find yourself in a shitty spot, it's probably not right after breakfast, after a good night's sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the heat of the day where you've already been working your butt off typically, and you're already dehydrated and kind of behind the curve of hydration.
Certainly.
And probably food too. You probably didn't have enough fuel that day. And I don't know about you, but like even today, like I'm on that 8-mile hike, 8 miles round trip to Trapper Peak, and man, afterwards my blood sugar just tanks. Like my blood glucose level, I can like feel it, you know, and I get a little shaky. And so and I'm not a big like chocolate candy kind of person, so but like
sometimes,
man, I was craving hard after that hike.
Yeah.
So luckily, one of my friends, Amanda, she has like a little, it's almost like a little snack bucket on her little cubicle.
Hell yeah, dude.
When I ate that thing when I got back, I was like, oh man, I'm hurting.
Sometimes you just know what your body needs to, and sometimes it's Oreos.
Yeah, totally. I know. Like usually, I'm trying to keep all clean from my Crohn's, but
right.
Like, oh man, like, you know, like you've been on fire, or you know, probably hard military training where you're sweating your butt off, and like you're behind that curve of like blood sugar, and you're like,
absolutely
something.
And I mean, that'll happen to me occasionally if I'm not paying attention to what I'm eating just day to day.
Oh.
And then it all hits me at once, and I'm like, I need sugar.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, especially here in Montana, it's kind of hard to get access to like good fruit, so I don't think about it that often. And I used to be a big mango guy, especially like one time on our. Look at that, the dried mango right there.
Yeah.
What else you got there?
Vitamin C.
Oh yeah.
That's how I try to get around it. But
yeah, right. Especially you, though. I mean, you're pretty much on an island up here, you know. Like you don't, and there's that Sula store. I guess it's close. Doesn't really have anything.
Not really.
More like camping supplies.
Yeah.
Please. That's otherwise you got to go all the way to Darby, and then their grocery store isn't the best either. It's just kind of like your basics. So
they close. By the time I'm off work, they close.
Oh.
So Hamilton.
Yeah. And I'm getting like battling some scurvy up here if you're not careful.
Thank God, I've still got all my teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm getting a little weird up here. But yeah, like in the lunches we're getting mangoes and stuff, so I started doing more of that, you know, and like you were eating avocado before, you know, like some of those like good fats and stuff.
Yes.
So kind of learning as I go. It's amazing how resilient your body can be now.
It's pretty impressive how much you can get away with when you're 20.
Yeah.
And then a decade later, how little by comparison you can get away with. You wake up one day and you're like, I need a gallon of water and to stretch like right now, and then I need to get back in bed. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't even drink last night.
Yeah, I've had that too. It's like I didn't drink. I didn't go do anything difficult, like physical. Like you know, maybe in the office all day, and then you know, but I move around a little bit, so it's not like I'm just sitting either. Sure. So I'll wake up and be like, did someone kick me in the hamstring? Like, what happened last night? My back will hurt. I'm like, oh man. I didn't do anything, but that's part of it, right? Like, if you don't do anything, like I noticed that today when I first started hiking, I think I'm starting to build some arthritis in my right knee from an old football injury from high school, and so like it feels like weak and stiff when I first started off on that hike, and it's a little bit of a pull right from the parking lot, and then it kind of levels off a little bit.
Yep.
But about halfway in, I was loose, and I actually forgot about it. On the way down, I was thinking like, oh man, I forgot my knee was kind of bothering me when I started this out, and it's because I don't use it. And they always tell you, motion is the body's lotion.
It is.
And it totally is. In one of my classes, that's what they talked about. Like, there's all this medication for arthritis. A lot of it doesn't seem to work that great, but if you just stay moving, that's how you stay ahead of it.
Right, and it's tough, that initial pull. We need to go back to the diet thing at some point, though. I do have points. A lot of it, motion is hard, especially when you've been sedentary for a while, when you've been sitting around. One of my favorite stories in the world is I lost a cousin who was like a brother to me about 5 years ago, which was real tough. But he was a super cool kid. He was like a skater kid. We got on super well as adults, which was like one of my favorite like brother kind of relationships that I've ever had in my life. But I remember dragging this poor kid to the gym, and it was like shortly after I got out of the military. Come on, let's go to the gym, man. It's like, fine. And I remember after like a not particularly forgiving back in by day or something like that, I was like, all right, we're doing pull-ups. And he's like, what? Why? Let's just leave. It's like, no, come on, let's just do this. And I remember him being pretty pissed. about me making us do this, but 2-3 times of that, and he was doing 10 pull-ups, 15 pull-ups by himself, and he loved it.
Oh yeah.
And just watching him come out of that, like a little more sit-down style life, and he wasn't super, like he liked to ski and skateboard and stuff like that, but as far as like lifting, it was breaking him off pretty good when we started. But it was cool to see him come out of that and adjust so fast, especially as a young kid.
Oh yeah, it's so awesome, man. So many people do they're like, well, I'm active, especially like skateboarding and stuff. Like, why do I need to work out? It's like it'll help, You hear so many pro athletes. I think even Shaun White, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think he even was talking about like working out and hitting the weights to gear for half pipe. For the I think Olympics, was it?
Oh, I'm sure.
I think he was going for that gold medal. And I thought I heard him talking about working out as well.
It's absolutely. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, shout out to Mobility Duo on Instagram. They have a ton of like workouts for snowboarders, yoga for snowboarders. Hey, strengthen this if you're a snowboarder. Do this all summer if you're a snowboarder. Like, it's great stuff.
Yeah,
I've done a couple of their workouts and they kicked my ass.
Yeah, I mean, even in just our lifetime too. Like those kind of like sport specific, even like hunting specific workouts like that. Those didn't exist before. Just like, just go hike around and
that's the main one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like why do I need to really work out? But then if you get an animal down, it's like packing it up.
Yeah. Hello, 250-pound pack.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Yeah, and then.
That's why I like to hunt with my uncle, because he hunts almost from his truck.
Oh, and if he's good luck, then you're probably a good spot. Then if he's bringing him in. Some people just have good luck. I don't know if they've just been doing it so long when they're driving around and they just kind of know where the elk are going to be moving or deer or whatever. But yeah, it's like they always fill tags.
He's very much like that. He's got his own little community too that he's pretty tight with.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah,
it's kind of good though too, because I know some of the older folks around Whitehall have like their spots, and people just let them be like that's their spot. And they usually get like a cow or something, and that's also what they eat on all year. So it's important. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm happy to help out. Like that goes to the family deep freezer. So.
Yeah, totally, man. I'm right there with you. What were you gonna say about that before we get to
Okay, so just before we started, when Luke first got here, he actually caught me making dinner, and I didn't time it very well, and I was like trying to stuff my face while he's getting set up. But I had a question for you in regards to that. Your diet must be super strict, because I had a moment where I was like, man, I should make this guy something. But it's like, I know that your diet is regimented.
Yeah, it's pretty strict, like mostly, like I even lately, sorry, it's like a lot of around about. So it's like meat and potatoes kind of diet, and like potatoes will kind of like, if I have too many, it will start kind of messing up. Or like, I think sometimes if people do like mashed potatoes, they'll do like a heavy whipping cream and a few other things that'll like not agree with me. But if it's just like straight up like mashed potato or like a baked potato, do our just like salt and pepper.
Sure.
And then like try to do a lot of red meats because I don't think I told you, but I just had an iron infusion because I got my levels back. And when I was in college, we took our own hematocrit, which is like the amount of iron you have in your body, and also kind of measures the carrying capacity of your blood cells for oxygen, carrying capacity for oxygen. And so like the way my professor said is like your blood cell, your red blood cell is like a car and it has seats in it. It should have like 4 seats or something.
Sure.
I'm probably off on that, but it's like you pretty much got one seaters because of how low your hematocrit is. He's like, that's how bad it is. He's like, so you're not, even your oxygen carrying capacity is not great. And I was like, I remember even training for smoke jumping, and when I was like in training for rookie training for smoke jumping, I remember being like, man, I'm in better shape than this. So I think I'd have like an up and down where like if I was doing too much exercise, my iron levels would start to dip more, and then so like it's like I almost felt like I was getting kind of like a what do you call it, like sports asthma?
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Yeah, because I think I wasn't, my blood cells weren't carrying the oxygen, and I was still trying to do what I knew I could do. So it was like, man, I feel like I just can't catch my breath here when I know I should be able to. And, I didn't really put that together until like recently, because they did a big blood panel on me, and my hematocrit and some other they call it like irons ferrous or something like that, or
Yeah.
like a ferritin test, and so the ferritin test and the hematocrit and something else, and I could be getting this wrong, so apologies for people who know more about this than me, but
We're screaming at home.
yeah, you idiot.
It's alright, I'm used to it.
Yeah, totally sick. That's my life. But yeah, it's like one of them was like a 20 to 40 scale, and I was a 2, and the other one was like 50 to 100 or something, and I was like a 3.
Okay.
So like I was barely on the charts for iron. Like that's such low iron, so I got an iron infusion. So that's, I mean, to link that back to my diets. So I try to eat a lot of red meat, but then talking to my friend that's shout out to Sustainable Wellness, Jessie, she was saying that she used to be a swimmer trumper too. She's a big old brain. She's like, I think there's just more of an absorption issue than I thought. I was like, right. So it's like, even if I'm getting a lot of like an iron supplement, it's gonna be hard. So I'm trying to do some more like beef liver type of.
Oh wow.
Yeah, added it to my diet. So yeah.
You sound so happy about that.
Oh yeah. I mean, they would say how healthy it is. It's supposed to have like a ton of like vitamins and minerals and stuff in beef liver and really big iron content. So. Well, I'll learn to love it.
Okay, how do you prepare it?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. So I'm gonna have to bug her because she does do
Okay.
like awesome tutorials on like healthy cooking and eating. She probably still does, but she did this awesome fermentation class last winter. I put it on in Sula and a few other places, I think. So all about fermenting.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
It's super cool. Yeah, it's so
parents would
healthy
be
for
big
you.
into it.
Yeah, oh, it's so good for you, man. She does a lot of stuff like trying to like, you know, be smart with your food choices and how to make it kind of affordable. It's great. So like I follow her on all that stuff, and then so like chicken, red, meats, like beef and stuff, and and wild game. I'm not that great of a hunter, so like hunter. Usually like my little brother supplies me. And then bison too, a lot of bison. Yeah, I really like bison meat.
It is good stuff.
Yeah. I used to do rice, but even rice started bothering me a little more. And same with noodles, like grains or something. The grainy foods are starting to get me. I was kind of hoping to get into quinoa, like kind of work my way into it, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to be able to handle those. But Mayo Clinic does have a trial coming up, so
Okay.
I'm not totally giving up hope. But yeah, it's like back to your question, it's pretty strict. I don't have a lot of wiggle room on my diet. I don't have a lot of room for exploration.
Yeah, you weren't kidding. Meat and potatoes.
Yeah, meat and potatoes is pretty much it. And lots of bone broth, seems to help out. So, and don't start the radio. They can't really hear somebody getting this mic.
That's fair. I'm more listening.
Oh, guess what, bad.
Oh, it's all right.
Was that anything?
You can show Mod 3 Bravo leaving the South Fork Fire and en route Darby.
I'll just keep moving around.
3 Bravo is local, so.
Yeah, I thought I heard like maybe I was just catching bits and pieces of the broadcast this morning, but I thought I heard it's like an Illinois resource or something.
Yeah, we've got a few forest resources currently running around, which is great. The work is here.
Yeah, totally.
So,
share the love.
yeah, we've got a ton of starts where the camera is pointed out beyond Shook Mountain and the Bitterroots is our West Fork of the Bitterroot River, and man, we had a lighting bust a few days ago, and it's like they got 20 starts. So yeah,
That's a lot. That's busy.
yep, the work is here, and on this district, nothing.
Yeah.
Johnson Fire, but
Oh yeah.
that's
I know,
I mean,
really.
it's like done.
I was gonna say it's how they put anything up. I was looking for it when I first got here.
Sophie sent me a picture. There's, a couple trees,
Oh yeah.
so it's not putting up hardly anything.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah.
McCart's still alive. McCart Lookout.
McCart made it. Woo!
Man, that picture she took.
That is something, isn't it?
Man, a wall of flames, just
Yeah.
like licking it.
Yeah, I love that.
That's such a great photo.
Damn, that is awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to her because the FFLA Forest Fire Lookout Association was looking to post it as well. So keep forgetting. So apologies, FFLA. I promise I'll get a hold of her.
Yeah.
She'll be fine with the door and make sure.
Oh, I imagine so. I mean, yeah. And if you grabbed her contact info from the roster, I'm sure that'd be fine too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I've got one. But yeah, so I'm curious with that kind of diet though. Mine is similar to that, but I add, vegetables of all different kinds, and then starches. Yeah, I should probably cut down on, but like pasta, super good. Tyrell has a recipe for pasta primavera. So it's hard to get away from that. And then I started doing fried rice recently.
Fried rice?
And probably not healthy, but damn, I don't care.
Yeah, well, it all depends on the oil you put in too, right?
That's
There's
true.
a lot of carbs and fats depending on what you do it with, but like an olive oil or something. What do you try to?
So yeah, usually a little bit of olive oil, and then I just do soy sauce, a little bit of teriyaki, usually chicken, a bunch of different veggies that I'll saute a little bit prior and then throw them with the fried rice. Crack an egg over all of it, and then a little bit of peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter. That I did not expect that. A little bit of curveball when I was. I have to warm up for that one, I think, but I'll definitely try it, man.
Yeah.
Does it add like a little bit of the old nutty?
It does.
It's kind of like a peanut sauce almost. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I was shooting for, and it worked great. So.
Yeah, I like it a lot, especially the soy sauce. So I was thinking about that. It's when we were kids, especially in the 90s, remember the salt was killing everybody, they said? So like everyone was having a heart attack because of salt. And they realized like we all probably could use more salt.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're like not very active, you know, but like, I mean, I probably still have salt stains on my face. Hiking
around today.
Yeah, do I have them?
No, doing good.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
It's like, give us 10 more minutes in the sun, and we'll both be sweating.
Yeah, that'd be good. Man. Just keep it glistening so it looks younger. I'm getting older now, man. Getting closer to 40.
I'm right there with you. Well, I'm not quite close to 40 yet, but
You're almost 30. You're still young.
almost 30.
Yeah, you're still young.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. For the viewers, for the listeners. Well, I was going to ask you, it's actually something my front loads are with. Usually I don't do this because I just kind of where the conversation goes. And a lot of times people kind of come on the podcast with stuff they already want to talk about. So I just kind of, I feel like sometimes I'm just like the conduit, like it's just like, you know, like Larry Lufkin, I just had on, you know, like amazing histories in the 101st Airborne in Vietnam. So it's just like, you have these stories, man, and I don't know them. So if you just want to like rattle them off, and I'll just sit here and like ask you questions and enjoy these stories, man, because
I will keep that in mind for sure.
yeah, well, like with you, it's just more like a chill conversation. We cover a lot of ground, but so like even with you, I don't front load any questions. It's kind of more like what's kind of happening in the world and wherever this goes. Like, I mean, we talk more about like diet and relationship stuff.
Sure.
But I front loaded this question was the Lookout life. I mean, this being your third year, how's it going? Are you coming back? What's the thoughts?
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. So it is hard to not like this kind of stuff unless you're a real socialite who needs a lot of human interaction on a day to day. It does edge on unhealthy though, because we are social creatures. Even the most hermetic of us, I don't know if I use that right. Even the most secluded of us will need human interaction. But I've found that I enjoy this spectacularly. I talk to a lot of folks, especially in the off seasons. So if I'm up here and I don't see a lot of folks, that's totally fine.
Yeah, a little break.
And then just living out here is so quiet and peaceful, and then I just get an insane enjoyment from it. Being able to hike every day is just fantastic, which honestly has taken a bit of a backseat. I've seen 2 bears in the last week and a half, which is, I've never seen a bear on this hill.
Yeah, I haven't seen a bear in this district yet.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to probably hang out a little closer to the tower these days. But brown bears, decent size. One was probably 400 to 500 pounds, and then the other looked smaller than that. But it was from a distance. One was in the saddle between here and Jim Hill Rock, and the other was down on the road. But it was far enough each time I was like, I don't know how big that is.
Yeah, right, and that's the scary thing. It's usually probably bigger than you think it is. You know,
Could be.
I had one situation picking huckleberries, and I was like, you know, I just like kept, I was kind of just thinking it was like black bear, and then it's just over by Miller Creek up in Sula.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And 2 different snares, and that one like kind of snuck up. That one snuck up, and I was like just not really paying attention, so I was thinking it was a black bear, not really that worried about it. And then all of a sudden, like, I looked up, and it's like, oh, that is way bigger than a black bear. And so like I slowly going back to my truck. And then the other occasion, I was with my dog, and it was coming through the bushes, and we were more of a wetlands kind of area, so I was thinking like, some on the fire crew I just saw maybe something in the same area. So I was like, probably dead moose. Not thinking much of it, just kind of taken away, and I'm only like shorts and a cutoff, you know, not carrying bear spray or fire or anything, because I'm smart. And but my truck was, you know, only like 10 feet away, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like off the road, you know, I was just down the cut bank there.
Yeah.
And so I'm taken away. The only thing I was worried about is like, you know, my dog's pretty protected, so it's like if he doesn't like the bears there, and so like as soon as I saw the bear pop out of the woods, and the bear didn't care about us, it was eating berries too, it
Right.
care less. So I didn't, but I was just worried about my dog provoking it, so I was like, all right, well, we're going, you can have it, you know. So
That's a good call.
yeah, before my dog really knew what was going on, we loaded up, and my dog also like loves huckleberries. He was taking his own as we were going. so he was distracted. So we left. I got enough. I filled a little jar.
Mhm.
We all left happy. The bear was happy. We were happy. But it was like one of those deals. It was like, oh wow, that's huge. Like,
Yeah.
And I mean, he was probably like 50 yards away. So like, not like dangerously close, but closer than I felt comfortable with.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thing when I was up here. It's like, I could go find out how big you are. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to get caught out between, like, I don't want to be hiking back, and then when I crest this hill, I'm like, there's a bear between me and my house. Cool.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Not a good thing. It's so fast.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. I think I heard something somewhere they run like 35 miles an hour uphill or downhill. Like it doesn't matter.
God, that's so crazy.
So scary.
That's so ridiculous. I can't get up to 35 miles an hour going uphill on that ATV.
No,
On that steep road.
yeah, there was a high-speed treadmill that had a harness, you know, that we train on in college, and we do go over speed training, so
Yeah.
you point it downhill, and you just run, and then when you couldn't keep up, you just tuck your legs,
Yeah.
and you'd be swinging, and then they'd stop it, you
Right.
know, and I don't think I got to that fast. I think maybe I was like at 30, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how fast I was going, but it was like,
And that's cooking.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
so fast.
that would be like running downhill and just barely keeping your legs in front of you so you don't eat it, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, and then probably eating shit and then the bear eating it. Would probably how it went down.
Yeah, and unfortunately in that scenario, I think you'd have to find a good spot that hopefully maybe you could hold your ground, maybe, and try to fight it off long enough for it to lose interest. I saw a horrible video. It's been a long time, but this dude hiking, he's on a little ridge that's pretty steep on both sides, and bear pops its head up from around a rock and just immediately attacked him.
But, oh,
And he was
there.
yeah, and he's really lucky. I think he gave it a pretty good kick or something like that, and it fell a ways, but it was pawing at him for a bit, and that I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it was like when I first got in a fire, and you may have heard the story, and I think it was Luke's Clark got shot in Yellowstone. They all got charged, and he jumped like in a wood pile, but his pack was still on and sticking up. So I think he grabbed him by the pack and
Yeah.
shook him, and launched him, and then he was able to get over some other deadfalls. I think he was still trying to get at him, but he was like under enough, big enough old tree,
Yeah.
old tree that it wasn't able to like break through and get him. But that would still be horrible, and I heard the breath is horrible. So imagine he's getting a full.
Every roar is another
Yeah.
nasty breath.
Nice
Yeah.
taste of it,
Yeah.
the full experience.
Well, berries and meat
Yeah,
for
Rob,
years.
you-
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a crazy story too, and apologies if I've told this on the podcast before, but I was IC, it was actually the first time I got signed off as an IC4 on this big fire in Elk Park over by Butte, just east of Butte, and probably the same storm that started the fire killed a cow. So it was an IC3 for, I think, a few days, I can't remember, maybe a week, and then I got transitioned down, I took it in the transition, so it was kind of cool, I got to like have a team for a minute.
Yeah.
And, really all like team moving, it's wild.
One beautiful moment.
Yeah, I made it. And, but then like part of that was like, oh yeah, we got this cow, and it's too heavy to do anything with, so we're just like, it wasn't
So like a moo cow?
like a moo cow, yeah,
Okay.
like a black Angus is what it was.
Huh.
And so it got struck by lightning, just dead.
Whoa.
Not far from the road, far enough to where like no one was really worried about it.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, one of the hotshot crews that was from out of the area was like, "Yeah, that cow's in a different spot today." I was like, "What?" And I hadn't seen the cow yet because I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't near a fire line. And they're like, "Yeah, like it's moved quite a bit." I'm like, "That dead cow is not it's moved." I was like, "Show me," you know. So like, the stupid hotshot crew is like jumps, you know, has me jump in his UTV and we roll up there, and I mean it is like 400 yards or more moved from where it was, a full grown Angus cow was getting drugged, and you can see where it's getting drugged towards the tree line. And I think it was doing it while the soup was coming, and then the soup surprised it, and luckily it ran off. But it's like, how big of an animal is moving like a 1,000-pound cow or whatever a cow weighs? You know, it's like,
Right.
That's some scary stuff.
What a trip, man. I can't imagine the stories you would tell back home after that, where you're like, yeah, I was in charge of this fire. I had to figure out how to move a dead cow as part of my job today. It's like,
Yeah.
I had to figure out the logistics for that.
Yeah, so what we ended up doing is like getting the local rancher from down the road, had a backhoe, and he came and buried it. It was like, we're just gonna let him have it, but it's like, this could be a bad deal, you
No,
know?
yeah.
Like, so yeah, we just said, and he might have taken it like away from there and then buried it because they got a hell of a sniffer, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I think he loaded it up in the bucket of the backhoe and carried it way off somewhere.
Luke, I'm going to need 11 guys.
Yeah, exactly. Who's your strongest? Who's feeling healthy today? Oh man. Yeah, man, they just love rotten stuff. So like,
Right.
That's got to be part of the reason why their breath is so terrible.
I imagine.
All them teeth and no toothbrush. You know?
It's what he's so mad about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Was that Waterfoot?
Yeah.
Oh, so good, man.
Oh my god. I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, it's been a long time too.
Yeah.
Like that line always, probably because of Human Anatomy too. You talk about the Abdullah oblongata and
Yeah.
stuff, you know. I think I butchered that, but.
No, you nailed it.
Did I? Oh, yeah. Once in a while I get a moment. But I ruin it because I'm like, is that right? Like, yes or no. And then I have another question. Well, actually, before I do that,
Sure.
the loneliness factor being up here, what you call it,
Yeah.
you had a word for it when you said it before, like being over yourself.
Oh, were you like secluded or
Secluded, yeah, like the
anything
secluded
like
nature
that?
of a lookout, and not as social, you know, like especially in the Bob Marshall Wilderness, you hear about that.
Oh, yeah.
That is a tough part, dude. Like I could probably do lookout like at this capacity, you know, in Sula and maybe like Willow and stuff, and having people come up. And eventually, I would like to, you know, when I'm down the road and retired, go do like a Bob Marshall, you know,
Yeah.
lookout sometime. But I'd have to, for me, I'd have a plan. Either like it'd be like the still doing the podcast thing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to bring technology, but I'd probably bring like my Starlink so that I could upload a podcast.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
But I want to be getting the full experience, you know, without the technology.
I guess if you're looking for that kind of experience, then yeah, I mean, I've got a computer to my left for those who can't see it. But if you're looking for that full experience, then definitely go for it. I've spent like some time at TP where
With a typewriter. You got the fire going.
there was a minute there where goddamn, they have like a car battery powering their radio or something like that, and it's not enough to even charge a phone. So after 2 days, everyone's phone's dead, Tyrell's laptop's dead, whatever. It was me and an ex and Tyrell and I think maybe his siblings, and we didn't have nothing because we couldn't charge anything.
Oh,
It was fine. We do fine.
play cards.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah. I know that's like when we go camping, the cards come out. You
Yep.
know, the family. I'm like, yeah, these are good.
Tyrell and siblings visited. There's cards sitting on the alligator.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Totally. But yeah, you'll find stuff to occupy your time. He had some old golf club that someone left up there, and pretty soon we're like chipping little rocks off the mountainside and just
awesome.
laughing. We were doing stupid stuff, and then you'll hike a bunch, and meals are a thing. Everyone pitched in to like help do dishes or cook or whatever. So I don't know. Life kind of slowed down, but there was nothing terrible about it. But that's with the group. If you were going to go to the wilderness by yourself in a lookout, I think that would be a little more maddening if you didn't have some kind of intermediate step. So for me, I feel less stressed about not seeing other humans in my third year after living in Sula for years, after being a lookout for a few. If a week goes by and I don't see anyone, I'm not really like itching to see anyone,
Yeah.
but it does help that I've got a cell phone that I can text people.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So that might be a difference if you don't have service or anything like that. But I think with the experience that I have, going to the wilderness, not seeing anyone for 3 weeks, I would probably be all right.
I think so. I think I would be too. I'd have a stack of books to keep myself busy, and then I probably would start writing. I don't have anything I want to write about right now, but I like the idea of having that. So
yeah, I've done the same. It helped keep me occupied my rookie year up here.
Yeah.
I wrote some stuff, not anything that I'm like, oh, so proud of or that I want to share, but it was just fun at the time.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's do something else.
Speaking from the heart.
Let's talk about these rattlesnakes.
That's what I was
this tall grass.
All the romantic stuff.
It is like a Western movie up here that people kind of don't realize. I get a lot of touristy folks these days from Yellowstone, and they get up here and there's no trees, and it's very hot on the right day, and there's like a hawk way overhead. It's 100 degrees. There's no wind, and it's dusty. And they're like, "What? Where the fuck am I?" I'm like, "Welcome to the Western movie."
Yeah, here it is. The real Yellowstone experience.
Yeah,
part of it.
Yeah, it's dry and hot, and a lot of folks don't realize it is a high desert.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like here, and it's weird how it could be like pockets, like in Montana, right? And then we you go up to the Kootenai, it's more like a rainforest.
Right.
It's very strange. We got a very cool state.
So it might be interesting to see how those kind of climates or biomes impact your daily life if you were out in the wilderness by yourself, nothing to do, and with a low-density work fire season, right?
Yeah.
So if you have nothing to do, there's been no lightning, there's no clouds, there's no smoke columns, and every day you're like, I'm not looking out these binoculars for one more second. I don't care.
Yeah.
You would have probably have drastically different habits depending on climate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, up here in the heat of the summer, if it's a desert, you will chase shade and take naps.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, you won't come inside for nothing unless you have to work.
It's so hot.
Yeah.
It's the thing with the big fishbowl.
It's a big fishbowl.
You see half it, but the whole thing is like this.
It's a big fishbowl, and then it sits on top of a concrete box. So if it's 100 degrees for a day, it will stay 90-ish in here all night. Oh, and that means if you have a second 100-degree day, you won't spend a minute in here.
That in a hammock.
Yep, I've got one.
Yeah, perfect.
I brought one this year.
Have you ever messed with sourdough? You ever get into that?
Sorry?
Sourdough?
Oh my gosh. I can make a pretty killer French bread from scratch, but I have not made a sourdough yet.
Man, yeah, because that's what I think I'd start doing too. Like the old Lookout books. I'm in a book club.
Are you?
Yeah, Lookout book club. Idaho Fire Lookouts. Billy and Kat are the founders of that, and they go out and to lookout sites and new lookout sites.
Sure.
And I think they have kind of like a museum over there in Idaho. But we were having dinner. Like an early dinner kind of in Sula, and we were talking about these different books we're reading, and we were just like, man, we should do a book club. And I was like, I don't have time, but man, if you guys want to, that'd be great, because I'd definitely be a part of it. And so we started off with some really old lookout books, and that was kind of the theme, is all these people who had come before the lookout writing the book, during their training, even way back when, it was it's not for everybody.
Sure.
So you'll know within the first week or two it's not for you. Yeah. And even Trina Moyles, who has a great book, Lookout, we read that book, and she was on my podcast too. She's awesome and great author, and she was in her training in Canada was the same deal. And she was in a really remote spot in the boreal forest.
Oh man, that would be something else.
Yeah, so it's and so she has a really, and I never asked you this before. That's why I thought about it. She had a really good routine, and really, she's really a descriptive writer. So she talks about all the different things that she went through, and in the highs and lows of her emotions, and all the things that she did to occupy her time, and then kind of how she survived out there, and thrived, really, more than survived. And it's really cool to read that and then talk to her about it too. And then we talked about coffee a little bit. Wish I would ask her more questions, but man, so coffee's the staple of the outdoor world, man. I thought it was just fire, but it's everybody, man.
I am currently running low. That bag over there has maybe a cup left. Oh, so I've got a bunch of tea behind me somewhere that I'm...
tea. Also good.
Yep.
Especially on those colder nights in the shoulder season in the Lookout.
So it's just nice too if I can wake up and have, a tea instead, or to kind of hold me over between you and me and the rest of the world. I prefer coffee, I think. That's just kind of what I'm used to now, and I've just been drinking it for way too long.
Yeah, you get a taste for it.
I do. But... I mean, I do enjoy tea as well,
Yeah.
But it is kind of that where I enjoy it more in the afternoon, more in the evening,
I
whatever.
was gonna say the evening in Missoula tea. Man, they're awesome. Was it Montana Tea Traders? Is that what it is? Or, yeah, I want to say that right. Is that the
I believe
correct
so.
company? I want to give them a shout out. So evening in Missoula is the name of the tea, and it is excellent.
I could just be completely wrong. Be like, yeah. No, you got it.
Yeah, nailed it. But it's somewhere in the ballpark at least. Yeah, that's great tea. And the nice thing is like a warm, especially in the winter, or like like when it starts to get cooler at night. It has no caffeine in it. Has great flavor, and I think it might even have a little bit of chamomile in it. So it's nice, relaxing. It's great before bed.
Oh, yeah.
Just in the evening when you're winding down.
So I'm sometimes, again, between me, you, and the rest of the world, I will do a little escape from the Lookout where I make the holy shit 2-hour drive into town in the middle of the night because I'm out of coffee. I don't have breakfast stuff. I don't have whatever, and I did not plan well, and now I don't have food. And if it's a couple days, it's fine. I can deal. I don't need to eat breakfast or a big breakfast or whatever. I don't need coffee for. No, I need coffee.
But like the little things, like
yeah, the point is, if I do get like ridiculously low on stuff, where I'm like down to eating like MREs and like Mountain House, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be doing this. So
that's why I took both those in so many different ways. Like
yeah, but you can only do so
that's what I
much.
was gonna say.
Yeah, it's half hot sauce. I don't want to eat it.
Yeah, my buddy Jason Hill, who jumped out of West, he one day, and he's a pretty quiet dude, and man, we got along great, just super funny. And I'm like mixing up my Mountain House thing with like one of the chicken rice ones.
Oh yeah.
And
Those ones are pretty
or maybe stroganoff. Yeah, those two are like great.
Yeah.
And I was like going to work on it, and he like started shaking the Idaho potato. I mean, the Idaho and instant potatoes.
Yeah.
I was like, it's already the big one, so it's already like a meal for two.
Oh yeah. Well, you're not gonna share.
Yeah, exactly. But I was already gonna eat that whole thing, and I was like, man, it's a lot. And he's like, just to make it better.
Add some potatoes,
Yeah, a little garlic potato, and so I added
Smart.
that whole thing, and it was nice. Because I already kind of watered it down. And man, I was stuffed.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it was great. But I mean, there's a few different things that we did, and eventually, it's all starts tasting the same, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean you can only dump an orange drink mix on Spam and stuff that in a wildfire so many times.
True. Oh man,
That's actually not bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like that was part of like the a rookie initiation.
Oh, interesting.
It's not like a force thing. It's just like, it's almost like just part of the culture. It's almost like manners to like for the rookie to go and make their best Spam and then present it to everybody on a QB box tray and present it to the whole smoke jumpers.
Slice syrup.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it is. And then people kind of rate the Spam and stuff. And so it's like part of the tradition. And it's super cool. And then like if it's sometimes it's like bigger where like Helitech or Repellers or District is up there too, and they kind of partake, and it's awesome, man. And dude, there's really good Spam that comes out of like this wasabi Spam, and it's like garlic honey, I think is what this one gal did. I mean, it was.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
People bring ingredients with them. Is what I'm saying.
yeah,
To cook
definitely.
the Spam.
Yeah, I figured there wasn't a honey garlic drink mix out there.
Yeah, exactly. Just getting found their honey and.
That poor bastard.
Oh man.
So my rookie year, I think it was late in the season, like snow on the ground maybe, and we were burning piles out in the East Fork, and someone was talking about like little jumper hacks, and they were like, yeah, orange whatever Spam. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I don't know why. We must have had lunches from somewhere. Everyone had these little Spams and the drink packs that you can find in every MRE.
Yep.
And a bunch of rookies, me included, were just like, all right, let's try it. So everyone kind of did that. But instead of like, since it's not one rookie, it's a crew of rookies, we just tried each other's.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Man, everyone trying. I think one guy used, it's like raspberry, cranberry, something like that drink mix. He used that. Most people used orange. I think one guy used lemon lime, and that sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just so funny to give that a try.
Yeah.
And then to have some
Nice
surprisingly good ones.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you could eat this at home.
Oh yeah, a little nice Ritz cracker. Oh, it's choice. So good.
Look at this charcuterie board over here.
Yeah.
Look at these hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, we're all filthy, you know. Like this is great.
Black hands from soot, black face.
Oh,
just like
yeah,
eating
stinky.
snacks. Oh my gosh. That was the big joke too. There used to be a restaurant right down behind us called the Rocky Knob, and it's got a lot of history in the valley. This used to be a big logging community, and that place used to be a brothel, along with a bar and stuff like that. That got outlawed years and years and years ago. It was a staple for a bar though, and it did Wait Wednesdays, and they had drink specials, and they're like super friendly with the locals. At least twice a week. In come this big, dirty, loud group of firefighters who drink too much and they're too loud. But we would, every single week, attempt to order the most wings as a group. Like, that was the big joke.
Yeah.
Is we would bring the whole crew if we could, and everyone would order enough. It's like, what's the most wings someone's ordered today? It's like, well, this one group had 80, between 8 of them.
Yeah.
And the wings were like, they were grown in Area 51. They were huge. They were insane. You didn't need 10 of them, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was almost like a weird point of pride. Like, our ego got a little hurt. We're like, there's only 6 of us, but we can fucking do that.
Yeah, we got this.
We want 100.
Yeah. Please.
And they're $1 a piece, which sounds egregious until you see the size of them and you realize they're a chicken breast.
Yeah.
And, so we would constantly go in there, and it got to the point where our squad boss that year was kind of notorious for having a good time. It got to the point where if they would see his face, they would just put a bottle of whiskey down on the table and just like, yeah, whatever, we'll charge you for it, or we might not. And I was like, I didn't think this kind of shit happened anymore. I thought this was like in Western movies.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the gunfighter comes in and his bottle's there waiting for him.
Yeah.
He's got his spot.
It was hilarious to see that and to actually be a part of it. But yeah.
That's cool culture. Like, I mean, the drinking gets a little too crazy sometimes, but like the rest of it though is pretty awesome. And that's why like people refer to the firefighters, and for folks listening who haven't been around the fire community as much, it is like a big family because you do these events, right? You go and try stuff, and it's all like these, typically younger kids that are just fresh out of high school, and they're like, yeah, let's do it, And,
Oh, yeah.
slow fire season, that's kind of all you have for like excitement. So it's like,
oh yeah, you're throwing Pulaskis at trees, and you're going to the bar, and it is that 18 to 24 crowd or whatever that is just, you have nothing but energy and time on a slow fire season, and you work all day together, and then you live together, so you end up doing all this stuff together. You really are. You become very close, especially in a secluded spot like this one.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, and then the next year, most folks come back because of that, and then you get to like catch up, like see what they're doing in the off season, and then they come back usually in better shape, and hopefully it all goes well. Yeah, it's sort of the first year people didn't get into lately.
That was me.
Yeah, like I remember.
Oh, I was a clear cut case of that.
Oh, really?
Oh, I had never worn like heeled boots or anything like that before. And one of the first times I put them on was hiking that hill, and it about killed me. And I wasn't very far into it. It was pretty embarrassing. I was probably only 5 minutes into the walk. And I remember our assistant looking at us. He's like, "Your feet killing you?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "I can tell."
Yeah, 10 foot.
You look real new at this. And
Yeah.
I mean, because I had done the military thing, and I was like, I've worn boots before. It's not a big deal. No, not loggers.
Not the logger boot. Yeah.
You haven't hiked up a hill with a shitload of weight on your back in loggers. So yeah, definitely being a case of that. And
Well, yeah, it changes how you walk quite a bit because like, so it's such a big heel, and then even today, when I was going downhill, like a little heel, this guy. Yeah,
skate shoes.
Yeah, I could definitely feel it. Like, man, I miss having that big heel on, like a white or a Nick,
I was like, I don't know, mine are over there somewhere. But
Oh yeah, I'm looking right up. Yeah, they look wonderful. Well, shoot, now I mean, this is a great podcast. I don't really want to cut it short. But,
I was like, I'm happy to keep going. Are we dying?
yeah, I'm just worried about that thing overheating, and kind of got dinner waiting on me.
Oh shoot!
Was there another question I had for you? I don't remember what it was.
We had the podcast one. I get frustrated about. I don't know if I covered that.
No, just about like having to apply for this position every year instead of get rehire rights like a lot of.
It gets a little frustrating just because my season's so short.
Yeah.
I don't know if that might be the cause of it, but I have to submit a lot of paperwork. Again, what feels like a fucking triplicate every year. I'm like, why am I doing this? You already know all of this information, Forest Service. Why?
Yeah.
So that it kind of chaps me a little bit, and having this lifelong, what seems like at this point, struggle with the government, where every step is painful and the paperwork is painful. Last year, it kind of had me questioning, like, why do I do this to myself? Why am I going through this for the okayest pay in the world? And I had to have a little moment with myself where it was like, look at the amount of enjoyment that I get out of this job. I very much like the community. I love this area. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't get me to leave. It's something about this job continually brings me back.
Yeah, I think it's a connection that I think everybody has, and maybe they don't hear it as much because they haven't been in the outdoors as much. But like once you start, like I promise you, anybody listening, once you get your toe in the outdoors, it's gonna keep pulling at you, and
It sucks you in.
It does, man. Because it's same. I mean, I grew up in Whitehall, but I wasn't really. I was camping and stuff. I had Boy Scouts, but it wasn't like I was really as involved in the forest as like working for the Forest Service. And
Sure.
now I know all these plant and tree species, and the fire ecology, and like what is helps, and especially in our forest, like what helps make our forest healthy, and like all these roads and all these areas and all these neat little spots and little microclimates like we were talking about earlier, and orchards, cool little orchards that are kind of been forgotten that are up the West Fork. They're trying to save one right now, and like those cool things, and it gets you in love, and you're like. Because I think everyone at some point has that, and probably in every job, where it's like, is juice worth the squeeze? Like, this is becoming more of a hassle, and I'm not making any more money, maybe, or it's just like...
I mean, if you're in the Forest Service, you're not making money, period.
Yeah.
So that's not what you're here for in the first place.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
At the end of the day, you got to pay rent.
Yeah, you're going to at least cover the bills,
But yeah, what you mentioned is really actually fascinating in that way. I didn't know anything about like weather patterns, right? Clouds, weather patterns, anything like that. Becoming an FFT1 Type 5 and having to like sit through all your different classes and then talking to an actual weatherman from Missoula, that poor man, we were exhausted off of work. So him talking was like us trying our very best on the edges of our seats, like stay awake, stay awake, stay awake.
Yeah, exactly. Absorb this.
Right. But some of the stuff he said was so profound, and understanding what his job was as a meteorologist and little stuff, right? I remember back in the days, like, for instance, one of the ones that stayed with me big time is you hear, like, 50% chance of rain. And my best friend's dad would always be like, that weatherman doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It poured all day. And back then, as a kid, you absorb that, and you're like, these weathermen are idiots.
Yeah.
And then learning, like, no, 50% of your area has rain.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I'm the idiot.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
I didn't understand how this worked. Little stuff like that was profound to me. Learning about weather patterns when I was a young dude, even. Was like, damn.
Yeah, even predicting lightning.
Right,
When I first got in the forest, it was like, you can predict what the LAL is going to be.
What is this wizardry?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know these things. Like, it's nuts. I mean, I know you can see, like, off the radar, you can see a storm coming, but still, like, you can predict the lightning, what it's going to be. But it's like the heat, the convection, all these factors that come in, and, whatever cell might be tracking across the U.S. So, a pretty good idea of what the lightning is going to be, and what is, like, LAL of 3 for our areas, usually when things are going to be exciting.
Yeah,
3, right?
Generally.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 is like you have lightning activity, so.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I think our fuel pretty receptive on 2 and 3, I think, is. But it's weird how different areas are like that. Like, they have their numbers, and I remember it was like, what was it? LAL of 2, 80 degrees, and something else. I can't remember what the 3 things were that were like, this equals out large fire activity on the bitter, and it's specifically with Stevensville, I think is where they're saying, like, I wish I remember the numbers, because it's really interesting, because then, like, on those days, I think we'd be in fire weather watch anyways, but, like, especially in Stevensville, we're, like, a little more, like, heightened, like, all right, this is, the potential is there, and then you can plan for it, too. It's like,
sure.
In my head, I'm already thinking, like, if I go to a fire, and I'm the engine boss, or a crew boss, or whatever, I'm already kind of thinking about my exit strategy, and
and as you should be.
Yeah, going from IC5 to IC4 to whatever to IC3, you know, and like the steps. I'm already like pre-calculating those steps because the early season it's like single tree lightning strike, 10th of an acre, you know, one engine maybe two, you know, just to help.
Two dudes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Two dudes. Yeah, like so. Oh shoot! I'm gonna hit the road. But,
I got one last little quip for you. Deer Mountain wanted me to say hi, so Ellie says hello.
Oh, awesome!
And I was trying real hard to. She is the best.
Oh man!
I was trying real hard to bait her into a joke, but it's so stupid. But I was like, "Oh yeah, Luke from the SO is coming up." And she's like, "Cool, tell him I say hi." And I was so hoping anyone was going to ask why. So we'd be like, "We're getting audited. They want to know about this hot tub I got out here. They want to know about the $5,000 charge on the district card. So hide your hot tubs, guys."
Yes.
So funny to me, so stupid to the rest of the world, but she would not for the life of me ask.
That's what?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she probably knows, well, she knows about the podcast. She probably just already seen like, oh, it's looking for an interview. Yeah, oh man, she's so great. I remember last year, like just, you know, normal stuff, like stress is kind of building up in my day, and I had a reason to go see her because I was supposed to give a tour, and I'd never been there before, so I was like, I should actually figure out what this is before I like try to show some new folks the forest. Yeah, because that's one of the only spots I had never been. So I went up by myself, you know, I called her and was like, hey, Elliot, is it cool if I come up and meet you? And I'm also never been, so I kind of want to see how to get up there. And she gave me some directions, you know, and it's not that hard, but it was great, man. Like I figured I'd go up there, you know, in like 5 minutes, like say hey, introduce myself, and you know, talk to her a little bit, and see. You know, how long she's been up there, just some basic questions, and be like, all right, like, cool, I'll let you know we're going to come back, but there might be a tour up this way, and something happened, we never got back that way, but I ended up spending like a half hour up there or longer, just like, she brought me in, and was like, hey, would you like to have a seat, and I had some water, and we just talked, and she had some tea going, but the view, and I mean, I didn't want to leave, I was like, yeah. I got stuff to do, but I could just stay here all day and just hang out with you, Ellie. She is so cool.
It's immaculate.
Yeah. I mean, Deer Mountain, all the views are great. Like, they're all their own views, but the way Deer Mountain is, like, set farther west in the Sapphires, so it like, feels like you're almost in the Bitterroots. Like, the view is just like the Bitterroots are right in your face. Yep. It's one of the best views I've been to in the Sapphires, at least, you know?
It's incredible.
Yeah. But... well, shoot, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, we could definitely go do 2 hours. So maybe you're not for much longer, huh?
I've got like 10 more days.
I won't do a follow-up this winter because I don't know if I'll get back up here in 10 days. But
totally understandable. I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we're always talking about doing one, like, you know, midwinter. So
right, I would love that.
Yeah,
I really want to make sure to get back over here for ski season. So
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I would love to if I was here for ski season. Take some time.
Yeah, come back. You know, do some skiing Lost Trail. We can actually do a podcast in the Airstream. So.
Oh yeah.
'Cause you haven't been in the Airstream yet, have you?
No. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, and I was actually almost thinking about bringing it up here, and then thank God I didn't, because the road got even worse.
It's so bad, dude.
Oh,
it's so
man.
Bad. There was this tree down in the road the other day. I'm going to keep you here all day if I keep telling stories.
It's true. So, speaking to the tree.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for tuning in and listening. I appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody.